Alright, today we are trying out this sim racing place called GDR Racing. This is my, I think, 4th time here. It's pretty fun and pretty affordable, so yeah. So I think I mentioned it before, but this place is called DDR Akiba, which is in Akihabara in Tokyo. This is the first place I've ever been to do sim racing. I've never been into it before, but I end up going here probably usually around once a week because it's actually been a ton of fun. And usually it's not that busy. I usually go on a weekday in the mid to late afternoon. I want to say they close at 8 p.m. Or somewhere around there. So it's, in my experience, hasn't been too busy, but there has been some times where I had to wait a little bit, like this time here. You will have seen I had to wait. I only ended up waiting not long at all. I don't even think it was 5 minutes. But depending on the timing, you might end up having to wait a little while. The good thing is, if you want, you can make a reservation. Now, I don't actually know how to do it because I've never personally done it, but I don't know, maybe you have to call them on the phone or their website or something like that. But I do know you can make a reservation because I've had them tell me that a certain setup is reserved for somebody coming in shortly. But how much does it actually cost, and how long can you do it for? So I've never been to any other racing sim places, like I said, so I can't really compare them. However, so this place, I want to say, has 4 different setups. They're all a little bit different. Some of them have really big screens. Some of them have just like the one you can see in the video here. It's just one big ultra wide. They have other ones where they have bigger screens, and they have 3 of them kind of around you. The seats are a little bit bigger in some of them, and you have more adjustment. Some of them you can adjust the pedal as well as the seat position, which is really nice for someone like me. I'm not crazy tall. I'm 6 foot, which is 183 centimeters, which isn't crazy tall or anything, but for Japan standard, it is a little bit tall. So there's some of them, like this one that I'm in right now, is on the smaller side. I barely fit into this one, enough to actually use it. If I was even an inch or 2 taller, I probably wouldn't be able to use this one because it was already at its full extension, the seat was. So depending on how tall you are, you might have to wait for one of the bigger sims. With all that being said, the prices are all the same for each sim, so you kind of just pick which one you want, or whatever one's open. If you want to wait for a different one, you might end up having to wait for a while, but they're all the same. I go with a membership, which gives me a discount. I don't exactly know how that works because the membership is free, but with the membership for 30 minutes, it's 2,500 yen. They do require you to use gloves, so you can rent them, which is what I always do. It's 500 yen. So it's 3,000 yen with the glove rental and the actual time. I don't know what it is without the membership. I would imagine it's not a crazy difference considering the membership is free anyways. But if you're just going there one time, you probably don't want to go through the trouble of making an account. And I'm pretty sure when I did it, you only had options for Japanese. So going through all the translation and everything is a pain in the butt if you're just going there once or even twice when you're traveling. So it'd probably be somewhere around 3,000 to 3,500, depending on if you want the glove rental or not, which ends up being around 20 to 25 bucks if you're talking USD. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say if you want to add 10 minutes, it's about 1,000 yen, which is $7 And I'm imagining if you want to do only 20 minutes and you want to take away 10 minutes from what I did, it'd probably be about 1,000 yen less, if I were to guess. Now, you're really not going to need much more time than that. I would recommend 30 minutes if it's your first time and you've never done it before. Your forearms get surprisingly tired because of the force feedback on the steering wheel. You'd be very surprised how after like 20 minutes of cranking the wheel back and forth, your forearms get very, very fatigued and tired from that. So you really aren't going to need that much time. Like, at least I thought when I went there that I was like, is 30 minutes going to be enough? But it was honestly fine. It was actually perfect for me going the first time. Now, the most recent time, I did go for 40 minutes just because I wanted to do a little bit extra and I felt like the price was worth it. And that was completely fine too, so it's really up to preference, but I really think 30 minutes is completely fine, especially if it's your first time. But yeah, if you're ever visiting Tokyo and have a little bit of time, then it might be worth stopping by and seeing if there's an open sim just to try it out for 20 or 30 minutes. The one thing I would say is it is very surprising how difficult it is. Like, obviously, a lot of people, I mean, me coming from the US, know how to drive. Like, it's very normal, but actually doing it in the sim, it seems like it might be easy, but it's very difficult if you're actually trying to go like decently fast and not just kind of cruise through the circuit. You'd be surprised how difficult it is, especially with the view. You're like very low to the ground, so it can be very hard to tell where the corners are, especially like learning the map. Learning the circuit is surprisingly difficult. It usually takes me a little while to actually understand it well enough to where I don't have to look at the little mini map, which you really don't want to be doing because you want to be looking at the markers to see where you need to be braking and kind of trying to plan your entry and exit out of the different corners. But it is very surprisingly difficult, so if you go one time, definitely set your expectations. I remember the first time I went, it was a ton of fun, but you do have to know that you're not going to be, Michael Schumacher on your first time in the simulator, so definitely set your expectations. But if you have a chance, it's a lot of fun. I was racing with the F1 wheel, and I was racing on a lot of the circuits that the F1 calendar has, and I was using an F1 car, but they do have a ton of other stuff. I've actually only used one other car. I used an RX-7 one time just because I wanted to try it out. But if you want to try out any other cars that aren't Formula, they do have different wheels that they can take off of the simulator, and they can exchange them out. And then they have different maps as well. They have a ton of maps, a ton of different cars. They've got like GT3 cars, or just like street cars, JDM cars, like whatever you can think of, they have them you can use. You just tell them and they set the whole thing up for you. But yeah, if you are in the area and you like cars or just always wanted to try it out, then I definitely recommend it.
Però ho bisogno di video